welcome. My name's Crystal. I'm an art therapist, an artisan. It's January 2025, and I am about to embark on the biggest, most challenging journey of my life. And I was just sitting here contemplating it, and I thought, you know what? I bet I'm not the only one. So if you are a woman, say 40 or over, I'm in my 50s, who wants to reclaim your authentic self, who wants to step into the fullest expression of yourself and become the artist that you've always longed to be, then you're in the right place. It's my intention this year to create a community of like-minded women so that we can support each other on this journey, because it's not easy doing it yourself. I've been dabbling part-time for the last few years, and I've made progress and made steps. But 2025 is a year of completion. It's a 9-year, and I just feel so excited. It's like, yay. In 2023 and 24, I was exhausted. I was depleted. My outside job has just sucked the life out of me. And I'm ready for something new and something exciting. And energy feels different to me this year. And I thought, okay, I can't be the only one. I'm positive I'm not the only one. So if you are wanting to either express yourself creatively, really become a full-time, part-time or weekend artist, have you pushed that down? I know I pushed it down for years. So I've had a long career as a couture embroiderer. You can see my work in the background, and I've taught people all over the world and really loved every second of it. But deep within me, my whole life, there has been this urge, this desire to paint and draw beautifully. Fashion illustration, watercolor is my passion. And I've tiptoed around it, and every few years I would dip my toes in the water, and then my inner perfectionist would come in and say, you're just not good enough, you're really quite shit at this, you can't draw, you're not naturally talented, and I would retreat back into my embroidery where I was really good and it was safe. But for the last couple of years, especially last year, I just set this intent, and it's like, no, I'm only ever going to improve if I set the intent and I practiced. And that is exactly what I did. Every Sunday, I get 1 day off a week. I work 3 days in my business teaching embroidery. I work 3 days outside for another business. I design and create jewelry, diamond rings and pendants and things for them. And so Sundays are my precious day. And often I'm exhausted, but regardless of that, I showed up most Sundays, and I drew and I painted and I did lots of online study, and I've read every book, and I continue to do lots of study and reading every book on fashion design and illustration, and I'm finding my own visual voice, my own visual language, slowly but surely. Now, some of those days were painful. I mean painful, because what came out was just shit. Like, let's just be honest about it. Some days you're in the flow and you get some good results, or halfway through a painting, it's going well, or an illustration, and then you try something and it ruins it. So it's like, oh no. And even the cost of good watercolor paper, I've got to the point where I purchase good watercolor paper because it makes all the difference to your art. And it's like, oh, that was $5 a sheet, and it's just ended up in the bin. I've wrecked it. It's like, girl, calm down, push through, show up. So I did show up, and I'm so proud of myself, because I've got a long, long way to go as an illustrator. But I've got to a point where I'm no longer ashamed of my work, and I have even started to post it on my social media feeds. So Crystal Gay on Instagram, if you'd like to have a look. There's still room for improvement, and that's what this journey is all about. And I think the important thing that I want to really talk about with you is that it's not just about the physical practicing of drawing and painting. That's a big part of it. But what's really going on is what's within me. The change has to happen from inside, and then that will be reflected outside. I've been a people pleaser and a good girl my whole life and played that role for my employers and for other people, my students. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. This is time. This is my time. This is your time to find your true self. Every time I meditate, I get this wisdom that says, remember who you truly are. It's like, well, who the fuck am I? I don't really know, because I have been spending my whole life being whoever other people wanted me to be. Now, if I'm honest, I do express myself authentically part-time, quite a lot part-time. And I'm super proud of that. That's been a long, slow journey my whole lifetime, out of the conditioning of being a good girl into a bit of the rebel, and now into, who I really feel that I am, and who I just relishing in the things that light me up and not being ashamed about them. I've carried so much shame about wanting to be an artist or a creative. I don't feel that artists have been valued in our society, and that is changing. I can see that. I see successful people everywhere. So that story is no longer going to be told in my life, and hopefully in your life. Yeah, it's a big journey, but I am super, super excited. So I am creating a community for women 40 plus on Patreon. You can join me there. And each week we're going to connect, and we're going to support each other, and we're going to share our art, and we're going to talk about the roadblocks that come up and the resistance, and we're going to encourage each other and support each other. And together we are going to step into new ways of being and tap into that inner guidance that's within us, and transform ourselves into the woman that we really, really desire to be. So, would you like to join me on this incredible journey? I hope you will. I'm sure there are many of us out there who have this same desire. I look forward to meeting you in my Patreon.